People in my family were murdered by the Nazis during the Holocaust. It would be a disservice to their memory to not try my hardest to stop it from happening to the Palestinians right now. I'm Jewish and I unconditionally support Palestine. I heard this online from an imam, this next quote. It's, no condemnations, no ifs, ands, or buts. We don't critique the table manners of someone who is starving. We let them eat. Okay, before I was in college, I never heard a negative word about the occupation of Palestine. And it was only when I was in the fraternity, AEPI, that I was awoken. If you don't know AEPI, it's a Jewish fraternity. It's actually the largest Zionist organization in the United States. And so I was being hazed in a pledge class. Take that. Being hazed in a pledge class, and they had our hands tied behind our backs. They had us blindfolded, and they had us in a dark room playing loud music. There were like 8 American guys in this pledge class, and then 2 guys who had served in the Israeli occupation army. Because they were tied up too. I remember that they were like laughing and having a good time, but the Americans were upset because we'd never been tortured before. And so we asked these guys, we're like, why are you having fun? You're giving off psycho vibes. And they said to me, proudly, with their full chest, they said, we used to do this to Palestinians all the time. And in that moment, everything clicked for me. I realized that I'd been lied to, that everything I knew was a lie. And I ended up speaking to Palestinians, listening to their stories, right, reading, and just realizing how wrong I was growing up, how I'd been misled by all my social institutions, friends. Literally everybody in my life had led me astray. And Palestinians opened up their homes, their kitchens. They spoke to me. They told me their stories. And it changed my life. And I remember, I met Ibrahim through a friend. We were at this party. It was like a graduation party. It was in Beverly Hills. And it was a bunch of Zionist Jews there. And then me and Ibrahim. And so Ibrahim is understandably uncomfortable, right? Like, he's outside grilling for everyone, as Palestinians do. And he and I, we were chatting. We were talking about Palestine, you know? And I remember we were whispering. We were whispering because we didn't want to be overheard by the Zionists in the house. Because that's what it is to be Palestinian, right? You have to hide a part of who you are. I remember just being interested in his story, talking to him, and he sent me a message recently. He said, I remember that day because you were the only person in that house who treated me like a human being. And so that stuck with me, you know, and he asked me to come up here, and I'm honored to be here with you all. Thank you so much. So, I don't know if any of you watch the Palestine pod, but my co-host, thank you so much. My co-host is a human rights lawyer. Her name is Gazan Girl. I'm gonna do some jokes now. It's crazy because, like, I share my... Whoa, what's going on? The Zionist said no. All right. Yeah. I share my YouTube login with a Palestinian woman, and she's Palestinian, Muslim, and about my age, so the algorithm is confused. It'll be like man versus food, you know, sports highlights, and then 10 hours of Quranic readings. The algorithm has no idea what to suggest, you know what I mean? It's like, do you want something halal or haram today? Yeah. But on the pod, we break down a lot of the Zionist lies, right? Like, how is it possible that God gave them the land, but they don't believe in God? How can you claim to be from the land of milk and honey, but you're lactose intolerant? How can you claim to be indigenous to Palestine, but you were born in Connecticut? How is that? Like, they want us to believe that they're from Palestine so badly, you know? But their argument is not with us. It's with the sun. Skin cancer rates make the most convincing argument. They're caught red-handed. Okay. They're like, we don't support supremacy. That's why we moved here from South Africa 2 months ago. Okay, no, come on, we're having fun. They'll be like, never forget World War II, but also stop talking about the Nakba. They advertise a gay paradise in a place where gay marriage is illegal. Okay, pretty good. They occasionally step away from burning olive trees to tweet about how vegan they are. Yeah. They think from the river to the sea is a call for genocide, but death to Arabs is just boys being boys. Okay. Thank you so much. That is my brand. Okay. Yeah. I've got a few more, just then I'll get out of here. People are mad at Malala right now because Malala hasn't been super vocal about Palestine. But it's like, has anybody considered that she was shot in the face? You know what I mean? It's like the people who are known for shooting people in the face, so... Okay, these jokes will hit you individually. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, we'll wrap it up in conclusion. No, this part is actually serious, I'm sorry. Everybody talks a big game about what they would have done during World War II, right? Whether they would have opposed apartheid in South Africa. Those same people would have slapped the cuffs on Mandela himself, okay? Those same people would have lied about it later and told us they were on the right side of history the whole time, right? Those people, those racist white people barking at black activists sitting at dining counters would have you believe they're yelling out chef specials. Anyone who is not willing to call this a genocide is a gelatinous invertebrate. Okay, they are spineless. And they are at odds with over 800 genocide scholars who have confirmed that it is genocide now. The Israeli occupation is losing the ground invasion and the PR war. You don't hear a lot about it, but just in the last few days, they've lost over 100 soldiers. They are only undefeated against hospitals. Every video the IOF uploads is them doing TikToks inside an exploded maternity ward. Every video the resistance uploads is them walking up to a tank barefoot and dropping an explosive with their hands. The contrast could not be starker. People in my family were murdered by the Nazis during the Holocaust. It would be a disservice to their memory to not try my hardest to stop it from happening to the Palestinians right now. You know, I hear some people out here in the United States talking about, oh, I'm getting fatigued. I'm getting fatigued. I'm getting fatigued with your fatigue. How privileged are we to be here in a place where we can put down our phones and log off from the genocide, right? The people of Palestine live this life every day. They don't have the luxury to unplug. On the contrary, they're actually charging their phones with solar power because the occupation has cut off electricity and they want to show us just a fraction of what their daily life entails. The people of Gaza have not surrendered, so there's no excuse for anybody here to feel defeated. Look around, okay? Our protests are so much bigger. Keffiyehs are everywhere. People are believing Zionist lies less and less. Businesses are mobilizing. Even governments are forced to respond to the calls of their citizens. South Africa, Chile, Colombia, Chad, Honduras, and Bolivia have all expelled ambassadors or divested. The momentum is growing in our direction. We must do everything we can at this time. Gaza, the land of dignity, has brought a so-called giant to its knees. I'm old enough to remember when Jews rooted for David and not Goliath. Gaza is the David of our time. And I promise I will work every single day of the rest of my life to destroy Goliath that is the Israeli occupation of Palestine. Thank you for having me.